Okay, we're just going to give 1 minute. If anybody, if you would like to share on the chat which part of the country you're joining from. Kolkata, great. Oh, great. Jaipur, Delhi, great. My hometown. Okay, so we are 2 minutes past the mark. Let's kick off this session. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody who's joining, and we'll keep letting new participants joining. Welcome to our session this week. We are again super delighted to have LXME, one of our content partners, joining us on another important topic, emergency fund and retirement fund. While it's important for everybody, but it's very specifically important for women, and we all tend to put it either too late in life, or we also assume that somebody else in our lives will, take care of this. So I'm very, very excited for Priya to joining us today and doing this session with us. And also we have a few more members from Team LXME showing their support for the Aspire for Her and She Knows Money initiative, where we conduct these sessions. So I guess many of you know Priya from LXME, and I'll hand it over to her to do the introduction. And before we will kick off the session, we're going to do 1 or 2 icebreaker questions, and we'll do a poll question to take a bit of a stock check that how are we doing? What is the community joining today? Feels about the emergency fund and retirement fund. And also before we close the session, we'll do another poll to see how you feel after all the learnings you're going to be getting within the next 55 odd minutes. So over to you, Priya, quick introduction, and we'll follow on from there.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining in. So I'm Priya Agarwal. I'm the money coach at LXME. And if you talk about LXME, LXME is India's first financial platform for women. So I take care of the financial content and research piece there. And today I'm going to talk about 2 key goals for every woman, that is retirement fund and emergency fund. So everything in detail. So feel free to post all your questions in the chat box, and I'll try to make it super easy for all of you today. So thank you. Over to you, Steffi, for the polls.
Thank you, Priya. So without further ado, let's get started, guys, with our icebreaker questions. Here is my first question. Please send in your answers to the chat box. So my question is, what do you think is the right age to start planning for your retirement? I repeat, what do you think is the right age to start planning for your retirement? I am also putting this answer in the chat and the question in the chat box. 18, okay. 18, 29, 30, okay, 30. Yeah, mostly 18 plus. So 29, 30 consensus. When we start working or after college, 30. Okay, most people say basically after 18. So towards the other part of your life. Okay, nice. So no wrong answers here. So I'm not here to tell if there's any right answer. Moving on, my next question is, are you aware how an emergency fund is calculated? Are you aware how an emergency fund is calculated? I am not. No, no. Okay. So we're here to learn today. No, nice. Some takeaways. No, most people say no. Come on, guys. I'm waiting for a few answers. No, no. Most of them say no. A certain percent of our salary needs to be kept aside for emergency fund. Correct. And we'll learn how to do that today. Courtesy Team LXME. Okay, so I think most people say no, and we will learn that today. So this, we come to the end of our icebreakers. I will go ahead and launch our first poll now. You all will see it on your screen. Please send in your votes. The question is, do you think it is important for every woman to have an emergency fund and a retirement fund? Most people say yes. Nobody for a no yet, so I'm happy. People say yes. Quickly, guys, this is going to be on for a few more minutes until I end the poll. Yes, yes, most people say yes. 100% says yes, so nice. Quickly. I have a few more people I can see are yet to vote. Most people still say yes. Okay, keeping this on for another minute. Yes, okay. I think we can end the poll now. Most people say yes, so that is a achievement in itself. Okay, great. Over to you, Priya.
Right. Thank you, Steffi. And I hope everyone be attentive. We'll try to make this very quick so that we have enough time for question and answers as well. So let's get started. Okay. So first thing, what is an emergency fund? So emergency fund is a fund that you set aside for any contingency that may come your way. Okay. And it's very clear from the word emergency. But it's not something that you should get confused with a regular savings. Usually we think that, okay, this is the amount of money that I have kept in my bank account that can be used as an emergency fund. But emergency fund is something which you should plan for it as a separate fund for yourself. Okay. Then you must be thinking, okay, why do I need to plan for it? So one is that, there could be a medical emergency where you may need money, or in case of a job loss, or there are pay cuts, if there is a sudden home repairs that you may need to do, or in case of an accident, there is certain immediate cash money that you require. So these are certain examples of how, an emergency fund can help you survive difficult times in your life. Okay. And if you talk about emergency fund, it's basically everything. For example, during COVID also, we saw a lot of people facing job losses or pay cuts, and that time it was like a realizing moment for everyone when they thought that, okay, what if I had certain amount of money kept aside that could act as a cushion for during the time period to help them survive on the regular or the necessary expenses that are required. So this is why an emergency fund is needed. Then, secondly, it acts as a safeguard for yourself and your dependents against any contingencies. It acts as a safety net for you, and it enables you to invest your money in instrument that grows your money as well. It's not something that you put aside just as certain cash or regular savings in your bank account. It's something that you plan it in a way that first it's accessible to you, and secondly, your money is also growing. Okay. Now, talking about it is, when do you create an emergency fund? So the answer is very simple: as soon as you can, right? If you think that, you have certain dependents, if you there are set expenses that everyone needs to make on a monthly basis. So what if you imagine this scenario, what if something wrong happens, then you need certain amount of money for yourself, right? Either to pay your bills, or you have certain EMIs, or for your regular expenses as well. So this fund will help you survive those times, and you can get started in a very, very simple manner. Now, the next thing is, how do you create an emergency fund? That is what we'll be looking at next. Okay. Okay, so this is a very simple graph that will help you understand how an emergency fund can be calculated. So firstly, understand what is your monthly expenses. That is the first step we do. And it's important aspect of budgeting as well, that we you understand, okay, this is my earnings for the month, these are my certain expenses. There could be certain necessary expenses that you need to make, and certain wants for your budget. Okay, so first step is to understand what is your monthly expenses, then calculate the amount of emergency fund, which will be equivalent to 6 to 8 months of your monthly expenses. Now, if you begin your journey to plan for your emergency fund, 6 to 8 months could seem a lot for as a beginner. So you can start with preparing an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months. Okay, start with a 3-month plan. As you go along, you can increase your emergency fund to 6 months to 8 months. Ideally, it should be equivalent to 6 months of your monthly expenses. Okay. Now the next thing is, if you have like less stable income, then you need to create a higher emergency fund. For example, if you're freelancing, or if you're working on your own and you don't have like a fixed set of income for yourself, that this is the monthly income that you will be getting, your income is variable, then you need to have a higher set of higher amount of emergency fund for yourself. Okay, then what you need to do as the third step is save and invest the required amount amongst different asset classes, that is diversifying your portfolio. This is the key for investing for any of your goals, that you need to diversify your investments in different instruments, different investment options. Okay, now create your emergency fund. It should be prepared before you start saving and investing for your wealth creation. So we always have this common goal, right, that we want to create wealth for ourselves, or um, put in amounts of money for certain different aspirations. But emergency fund and retirement fund, both are these goals which should be given a key priority by you. Okay, then the next thing is to review your every year to ensure your fund is in sync with your expenses and lifestyle. It's a lifelong fund. You don't know when you may require. You may create an emergency fund right now, and you may not need it for another 15 years or so, or you may need it in the next year. So it's very unpredictable of when you may need the emergency fund, but you should keep it into account. For example, currently your monthly expenses is 30,000. Let's suppose your monthly expenses may increase to a 40,000 rupees or a 50,000 rupees in years or 2 years down the line. So your emergency fund should also increase in sync with the increase in expenses. Okay, so this is why a regular review or a follow-up is required. Now we can do a small activity. Okay, so we'll understand how you can create, or how you can plan for your emergency fund. One step, we know that it's it sounds very confusing when we think, okay, this is the goal amount that I have, but how do I plan? How much should I invest on a monthly basis or as a lump sum? So we have a tool on the app that you can try. If you want, you can scan this QR code, or you can type it on the Play Store or App Store. It will take you to a calculator where we'll do a small activity. Once you are done, you can drop in a yes, so I can move on to the next slide. And then we can quickly understand how you can plan for building up your emergency fund. Diksha, if you can specify your question or elaborate it, it would be better.
1 minute. Do we have to scan this?
Yeah.
1 minute.
You can either scan this QR code or search LXME, LXME on App Store or Play Store. Once done, you can quickly drop in a yes.
Not able to. Oh.
For easier access, link has also been posted in the chat box. If you want, you can click directly from there. All right, so the next step is to understand. First, you need to calculate the value of your emergency fund. Okay, this is a very simple calculation that we can do. For example, we are considering an ideal emergency fund of 6 months, that is 6 times of your monthly expenses. So let's suppose your monthly expenses is 30,000, then 30,000 into 6, that is 1,80,000 would be your goal amount for your emergency fund. Okay, so now what you need to do as step 2 is you need to enter this goal amount into the calculator. It will take, you just need to enter 1,80,000. Considering this example, it can be customized as per your requirement. Then you need to enter the target time period that you have. For example, if your target time to build your emergency fund is 1 year, you enter 1 year. If you want to enter it in months as well, there's a drop down table that you can select. and enter the time in months. And the calculator will help you understand what is the amount of SIP that you can do, or the lump sum that you can make to achieve this goal. It's a very simple calculator that can help and make this journey super easy for you. So let me know in the chat box, what is the emergency fund that you are planning to invest for yourself? Or what is your goal amount for the emergency fund? You can post your answers in the chat box. See, emergency fund is something you don't know when you will require, right? But the thing is that, it's very difficult for like everyone to set aside the entire 1,80,000 in one go as an emergency fund. That is why you plan it in a phased way so that you can start small. I mean, put in small amounts of money towards building up your emergency fund. So it's a slow and gradual process where you can decide what is the amount of money or what is the percentage of your salary that you would like to set aside for building up your emergency fund, along with planning for your other critical goals, for example, like your retirement fund or your child education fund. But a simple formula for calculating your emergency fund is whatever your monthly expenses are multiplied by 3 times or 6 times, whichever you think is ideal and you would want to create a fund for yourself. Ideally, it's 6 months, which is suitable, but you can start with 3 months of your monthly expenses as an emergency fund. So I hope that is clear. Now, the next thing is, where do you create an emergency fund? This is a very common question that I know now what my goal is. But where do I invest? So there are multiple options, multiple investment options that you can look at. One is an ultra short duration debt mutual fund. So these are mutual funds that are suitable for a short duration of time, because emergency fund is something which you may you need to have in a security which is very liquid, which is highly accessible. So these ultra short term debt mutual funds and liquid funds are a kind of mutual funds that are suitable for shorter duration of your investment requirement. Then there is a recurring deposit, which is RD, a very common instrument or a traditional way of investing that we have been known about. And then there are high yield savings bank account. So these are there are certain savings bank account facilities which offer you a higher rate of interest compared to a normal savings account. So these are certain options that you can look at to maximize your growth for your emergency fund, and secondly, making it accessible at the same time. Okay. Now, talking about how you can do, so Lakshmi offers an ultra short-term plan that one can explore. So this is a mix of debt and hybrid funds, which are suitable for creating an emergency fund for your, for the goal of an emergency fund. So these funds are expert curated funds that our research team curates and makes this journey super easy. So you can explore the Lakshmi app and understand whether it's suitable. You can start with either an SIP or a lump sum. And this is like a combination of mutual funds and asset allocated plan that we offer for building up your emergency fund. Now, talking about emergency fund in a summary, then we'll move forward to our next goal. So emergency fund is something that you prepare either for scenarios like your salary cuts or job losses, medical emergencies, if you're unable to work for a smaller period, if you want to take a break of 2 months or 3 months, whatever time duration that you feel you want to take a break from work. So ideally, you can save and put 6 to 8 months of your monthly expenses. Don't let your funds idle in a bank account, because bank account is something which may not give you the required amount of growth, because usually banks offer around 2.5 to 3.54% rate of interest. So that may not be the best option to put all your money. So you can always allocate and divide it into different investment options where your money can grow as well. And you can put majority of your money into an ultra short-term debt mutual fund, which helps you grow your money and at the same time make it super accessible. So this was overall all about emergency fund. Now we'll move forward to our next fund, which is retirement fund. Okay. So if you talk about retirement, it means basically building up a corpus that you invest in different asset classes where you save up a lot of money so that when you retire, you can plan it in a way that you have certain regular source of income for yourself, or you have a lump sum amount of money to survive during your post-retirement years. Because after retirement, you probably may not be earning, or you don't want that kind of obligation that you have to earn to survive. So there is a protection or a fund that you create for yourself to survive during the post-retirement period and fulfill all your goals that you want. Okay, so this is a simple retirement fund. Now we talk about why do you have to plan for your retirement. Okay, so as a woman, it's very important for us to plan for the retirement. Number one is we live longer than men. So the life expectancy is more, hence you need more amount of money to survive. Secondly, when you talk about we women face a lot of gender pay gaps as well. We face gender pay gaps in different scenarios. So that makes your earnings comparatively lesser to what a man earns. So ultimately affecting the amount of savings or investments that you could make. Okay. Thirdly, if you talk about why retirement planning is important for you, women, as you have a different life stage, different life cycles that you go through. You may take career breaks, or you may take a sabbatical, or there are different life phases that we go through. So that is why it's important for us to plan for our retirement and for our goals in a way that we require the amount of money as for yourself. And if you talk about this, so hence, as women outlive men, and as the reasons I stated, you need to save around 38% more than men to enjoy and fulfill all the retirement goals that you have. Now, when do you start your retirement planning? This is the question that we asked all of you. You mentioned 18, 30. Some said after college, or when you start working. So the answer is you need to start early, as soon as possible. The sooner you begin investing, the more money you have, and you can enjoy the power of compounding. Okay, you may have heard of power of compounding a lot, but power of compounding is something which works like magic. It's like the eighth wonder of the world. It helps you multiply your money, and we'll take you through power of compounding with a small example. Now, we have two people here. One is Karina and the other is Karan. Okay. So Karina, what she does is she starts investing at the age of 25 and she invests till the age of 35. Okay. So she is investing 5,000 rupees per month. And after the age of 35, she continues to stay invested with that amount of money till the age of 60. So from 25 to 35, by investing 5,000 rupees per month, she has invested 6 lakh of rupees. Okay. And at the age of 60, her investments have become 1.97 crores. Alternatively, we have Karan. Karan starts investing at the age of 40 and he continues to invest for another 20 years. Okay, so he invests from age of 40 till the age of 60. Now he started investing late, so he thought, okay, I'll start with 15,000, I'll invest more and I'll invest for 20 years. Okay, so he invests 15,000 per month for 20 years and his total investment was 36 lakhs. And his corpus at the age of 60 was 1.49 crores. Okay. So now you can see the difference here that, even if Karina started with a small amount at the age of 25 and she only invested for 10 years and then stayed invested for the remaining time period till the age of 60, she created a huge corpus of 1.97 crores by just putting in 6 lakhs of money. Okay. And if you see Karan, who invested 15,000 for 20 years by investing 36 lakhs, he created a corpus of 1.49 crores. So this shows you the power of compounding. Secondly, the power of starting early. Imagine if Karina would have continued to invest also from the age of 25 till the age of 60, she would have created a corpus of huge number, way more than what she created this time as well. Okay, so the important aspect you need to take care of is start investing with a small amount. Even if you think that you can start with 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, 2000, whatever you think is feasible for you to take out for your retirement. But to start the journey is very important. And then gradually, as and when you think that, okay, you have more income for yourself, you are able to save more amount of money, then you can allocate more, invest more in the funds that you are investing in. Okay, but the key process is to start this journey and don't delay it, because every day we are just losing out on the power of compounding that you could benefit from. So I hope this was helpful. Now let's understand, how do you create a retirement fund? Okay, it's a very small process that you need to follow. One is you need to understand, okay, what is the amount you require for a smooth retirement. Okay, and this can be very subjective, so it depends upon various factors. One, at what age you want to retire. You may want to retire at 40, you may want to retire at 50, you may want to retire at 60, or you may not want to retire at all. Okay, so this is you can still understand, okay, this is my target, my goal of when I want to retire. Now you need to think about your life expectancy. Okay, this life expectancy depends upon basically how long will you live. This depends upon various factors, your family history, health conditions, the current lifestyle that you have. A lot of things affect this life expectancy. On an average, you can consider 80 years, 85 years, depending upon your situation. Then there is an inflation, which needs, it's an important aspect. So inflation is nothing but an increase in the price of goods and services. So when you talk about inflation, why it's important to consider is because currently you may be able to manage your monthly expenses with 30,000 rupees, for example. If you save only considering 30,000 as your monthly expenses, probably at the age of retirement, you may need a 50,000 or 1 lakh rupees for you to cover those same expenses that you have. Okay, so this is basically nothing but a rise in prices of the things that you use for your daily life. So that is why it's important to consider inflation and take into account. Accordingly, invest your money so that your money grows more than inflation. Now, rate of return. Rate of return is what by what rate your investments are growing. Now, lifestyle is something that we consider so that we know, okay, this is either you want to plan your retirement considering that you would want to maintain your current life, or you would want to upgrade your life when you retire. So these are things which will help you estimate, okay, this is my current monthly expenses, but probably if I want to have a lavish retirement for myself, I would want I would like to save considering my monthly expenses are 60,000 or 50,000. So accordingly, you can get started. On the face of it, you may think that, okay, these are many things to consider. So how do I know exactly what is the amount of retirement fund I should create? Okay, but we'll make it super easy for you. Okay, in the next slide, I'll help you out with a tool that you can use to calculate this in a very simple way. Now, first priority you need to give is to your emergency fund, and second, you can start planning for your retirement fund. And the earlier you begin investing for your retirement, the higher corpus that you can create, and you will not burden your pockets as well. You can start with a very small amount, but that compounding and discipline will help you create a huge corpus for yourself. Now let's move on to the next activity that we have planned. Okay, so we discussed that, there are XYZ things that you need to consider, but how do I make it super easy? Okay, so all you need to do is scan this QR code. It will take you to a retirement calculator. And that calculator will help you estimate your retirement fund in just 1 minute or even less than a minute. So once you are done scanning, let me know, put a yes in the chat box. And we can get started. The link is in the chat box as well. So if you want, you can click directly on that link and it will take you through that. All right, we'll move to the next step now. So what you need to do once you go to the calculator, you need to enter your current age. Okay. So let's suppose your current age is 30, you enter 30. If your current age is 40 or 35, 25, whatever your current age is, you enter that age in this first column of current age. Okay. Now, next step is to enter the retirement age. When do you plan to retire? Okay, you plan to retire at 60, 50, 40. You enter the retirement age in this column. Next is the life expectancy. Life expectancy you can enter. So we normally consider 80 or 85. So you can enter the life expectancy here. The next thing would be your monthly expenses. Now, this is the current monthly expenses. At this point, what do you estimate your monthly expenses to be? You enter that amount. So we have considered 30,000 per year. In the next column, you need to enter rate of return. Here we have considered, since you would like, an estimate of around 15% rate of returns, this calculator automatically takes into account 8% as the rate of inflation. And once you click on calculate, it will show you how much money you need for your retirement or at the time of retirement. Okay, considering the inputs that you have entered. So if you are 30 and you want to retire at 60, your life expectancy is 85 years, and your current monthly expenses are around 30,000, you're investing at the rate of 15%, you would require a retirement corpus of around 3 crores. Okay. And if you want, you can start how you can start investing for it. You can either start an SIP of this amount, or you can make a lump sum investment at this moment to fulfill your goal at the time of retirement. So it's a super easy calculator that helps you estimate what is the corpus you need, how much can you invest either as a monthly SIP or as lump sum. Now let's understand, where do you create your retirement fund? Okay. All right. So retirement fund needs to be created in different asset classes. That is why diversification is the key. So you can distribute your retirement fund into 3 different asset classes. One is your equity. If you are young, you can allocate majority of the money into equity instruments, which will help you grow your money and provide you inflation beating returns. Okay, because equity is an asset class which requires like a long-term perspective for your money to grow and gives provide you inflation beating returns. So for investing in equity, you could look at investing in equity mutual funds or shares and stocks. So equity mutual fund, if you consider, so these are investment vehicles that will help you invest your money into these funds are managed by professional fund manager. So small investors like you put in money through a mutual fund, and the mutual fund manager invests that amount of money into different securities. If it's an equity mutual fund, they will invest into different shares and stocks of various companies as per their scheme. And then whatever the returns are being transferred to the investors. So this is how a small a generic working of how a mutual fund works. is. Now you can invest directly into shares and stocks as well, but that requires a lot of expertise, your research, knowledge, and analysis to be done. So if you think that you have that required amount of time and expertise, you can look at exploring shares and stocks. Otherwise, mutual funds gives you a great option where you can make use of the expertise of the fund managers and grow your money. Now, next asset class is gold. Gold is also an important asset class where you can look at investing your money. Why gold is important is because gold acts as a hedge against inflation. So in case if you see that there are great ways of investing in gold, and don't consider physical gold as an investment, it's a luxury. So you can look at investing in gold through sovereign gold bonds. There are gold mutual funds or gold ETFs that can be explored. So overall, like around 5 to 10% is something that can be put into your gold related investment instruments. Now, next thing is fixed income and debt securities. So fixed income instruments provides you stability and security to your portfolio. So like in an Indian meal, you require different sorts of food items in your plate. Similarly, on your portfolio, you need different investment asset classes. For example, equity, gold, debt funds, etc. Okay, so in case of debt funds or fixed income securities, you can look at one, employee provident fund. If you're working, you may be putting aside certain amount of money for EPF. There is an option of public provident fund. It's a long-term scheme which is available that comes with a maturity period of 15 years. Then there is National Pension Scheme. This is also a scheme launched by the government. It comes it's a pension cum investment scheme, offers different features like tier 1 and tier 2 account. There are different asset classes where you can invest in for the purpose of retirement. So this is specifically a scheme launched for the purpose of retirement. Then there is Atal Pension Yojana. This is also a scheme launched by the government, more or less for the lower income groups of people, which provides you a fixed rate of annuity post the retirement, like a fixed pension post retirement. Then there are debt funds or bonds or debentures. Then fixed deposits, which we all know about. Fixed deposits is the commonly FD that you call, national savings certificates, and different other post office schemes that are available. Okay, so as a portfolio wise, if you are someone who is young, you can look at allocating majority portion of your money into equity. That helps you grow your money, small portion into gold, and some part of your money into debt or fixed income instruments. So there are various options into each of these categories. Now your call is to understand what is suitable to your financial goal, your risk appetite, and what is the time period that you are looking to invest. A simple rule that you can look at is 100 minus age asset allocation rule, which you can go about is, for example, 100 minus, if your age is 30, then 70% of the money could be allocated towards equity, and the amount of the number of your age, which is 30, so 30% can be allocated towards gold and fixed income securities or debt securities. So this is a simple rule that you can try out. Now the next thing is at LXME we offer LXME's long-term plan, which is suitable for parking out for your investing for your retirement fund. So this is a mix of 75% equity and 25% debt, which is curated by the experts of our research team with 25 plus years of experience. So this is a combination of 4 mutual funds that we offer. The targeted return for this portfolio is around 14% per annum based on the past fund performance, and it's suitable for a long-term retirement goal of 3+ years, right? Since it involves equity, so you need to stay invested for a longer duration to reap the maximum benefits out of it. So do explore. You can visit the Invest tab of the app if you want, and you can explore this portfolio and get started with your journey. You can start either as an SIP or as a lump sum in any mutual fund that you want for your retirement goal. Now, as all of us are very unique and different, we may want to retire. Some of us may want to retire early. So there's a concept called FIRE. It's not the normal FIRE that we think. It's financial independence and retire early. So the goal here is to save and invest very aggressively, somewhere around majority of your income, so that if you want to retire sometime in your 30s or 40s, that's how you can plan about it. Okay, so the concept is that you need to save more, like majority of your income, which is 50 to 75% of your income, towards your retirement fund, so that you can retire probably in your 30s or 40s. Okay, so if you are someone who is looking for early retirement, then you need to think of ways of how you can maximize your savings and investments and put it into your funds that are suitable for investing for your retirement. So this is something. Now the next thing is the conclusion, that start building your emergency fund and retirement fund today. Start early, invest regularly, and that's how you can plan for all your money goals, not just this, but for all the goals. Like if you have for wealth creation, if you want to plan for your child's education, want to make a travel fund for yourself, everything can be achieved with the right amount of discipline and effective planning. So get started. Invest in your dreams. The time is now. You can follow Lakshmi on different social media handles like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. There's a community on the app as well as on Facebook where you can join. So thank you. And let's get started with the questions. Feel free to post your questions in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer it for you. So I think Rebecca from my team will take up the questions.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with the first question. Diksha is asking the emergency fund and for annual usage that we plan, or it is for more than 1 year?
Okay, so Diksha, what in terms of what my understanding is about your question, you can plan your emergency fund considering if you want to create a safety net for 6 months, 3 months, or 8 months, but you may not know when you may need that emergency fund. So this is something which is very unpredictable, but start with around 3 months or 6 months of fund, like as a goal amount for yourself. See if you want to save it as a, if you can allocate like a one-time investment towards building your emergency fund, or you want to phase out and spread it out into small amounts of SIP and then build your emergency fund.
Okay. So what is the interest in a debt mutual fund?
Okay. So debt mutual funds are still market linked instruments. So the returns that you get on a debt mutual funds depends upon the performance of the fund. So usually it offers returns of around, depending on what kind of fund it is, so it may offer you somewhere from 4 to 8% is something that you can look at. In terms of taxation wise, it's very tax efficient compared to a fixed deposits, because in fixed deposits you pay your taxes every year, whereas in case of a debt mutual funds, you pay taxes only when you redeem your money. Okay, so that is how you can optimize and efficiently use debt mutual funds for the purpose to have better tax after tax returns. So I hope that answers.
Okay. And we have another question. Can you give some clarity on SGB, that is sovereign gold bond, returns and investment?
All right. Okay. So sovereign gold bonds is it's like investing in gold, but in certificate format. These are investment options which are issued by RBI on behalf of the central government. One thing which is very special about SGB is that, apart from the normal capital gains that you get on the growth of your gold value, it also offers you a fixed interest rate of 2.5%, which is credited semi-annually, that is every 6 months. So overall 2.5% per annum is the rate of interest that it offers you for 8 years. So SGB comes with a maturity period of 8 years. Now, what happens next is that, let's suppose you bought 1 gram of SGB, which is the minimum that you can purchase. Maximum, there is a limit of 4 kgs. So if you purchase 1 gram of SGB for 5,000, and after 8 years, the value of your SGB becomes 9,000. Okay. So the gain, if you stay invested till the time of maturity, that is 8 years. So the gain that you make is 4,000, that is 9,000 minus 5,000. So on this 4,000, you don't have to pay any capital gains tax. So this is something which is a very interesting feature that SGB offers when it comes to helping us save tax as well as growing our money. So this is, I think, an overview, and gold is something which performs well in the long run. So you can consider a perspective of a long term, which is of 8 years, to optimize and maximize the benefits considering the SGB investments. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay. Is digital gold safe?
Okay, so if you talk about digital gold, there are various platforms you may get where you can invest in gold with, 1 rupees or 10 rupees, but it is something which is not regulated as of now in India. So, it's better always to invest in instruments that are regulated. For example, mutual funds, which are regulated by SEBI and AMFI, and there are options like sovereign gold bonds, rather than putting money in a non-regulated instrument. So as we always want to keep our hard-earned money safe, it's important for you to understand where you are parking your money. So digital, whenever you come across digital gold, first understand, do you want to actually take that amount of risk, or rather put money in a mutual fund, or a sovereign gold bond or an ETF. And if you look at how you can get started with a small amount, so for example, like at Lakshmi, we have a gold fund, which is a gold mutual fund, where you can start investing with 100 rupees also. So 100 rupees is a very small amount that you can get started with, either as an SIP or as a lump sum. There is no risk, it's a regulated product managed by professional fund managers. So that is how your journey can be eased out, and you have also multiple options at your disposal.
Okay, so we have another question from Pallavi. She's asking, can I start investing in national pension scheme at the age of 37 for my retirement planning? Is it a good idea?
Okay, so if you talk about national pension scheme, so you can start investing right now as well. But before making any investment decisions, first, it's important for you to assess what is the amount of money you need for your retirement. That is first and the most important thing, to set your goal. Okay, this is what I'm planning for. Okay. Next is to understand what is your risk appetite. If you are investing for your retirement, it's better to invest in different investment options, so that you are diversifying your portfolio, not just putting it into into one instrument, specifically an NPS or any other option. So put it in different instruments. So understand, okay, let's suppose 3 lakhs or 3 crores is what you need for your retirement. Now, if you want to invest, you can invest some portion of it probably in an NPS if it's suitable, some into a PPF, or in equity mutual funds if you want inflation beating returns. So this is how you can diversify, put some amount of money into debt funds. For example, like the fund that we offer on the Lakshmi app, it's a combination of equity and debt, which is suitable for building up your retirement fund. Now, talking about NPS specifically, NPS comes with certain restrictions. For example, if it's a tier 1 account, you will be able to redeem your money at the age of retirement, which is around 60 years. So you can take certain portion as a lump sum, and rest needs to be taken as an annuity. Okay, so you need to consider certain features that every instrument comes with. Understand what is the amount, what kind of flexibility you are looking for. Are you looking for investments that helps you withdraw money whenever you want, or are you okay with a lock-in period of long term till the age of retirement, or a 15-year lock-in or something? So I hope these questions will make you make a better decision for yourself.
Okay. So there's another question. When we wish to diversify our portfolio, what is the percentage of investment that needs to be made in each debt, equity, and other schemes? And she has a medium risk appetite.
Okay. So see, everyone has a unique financial I would say, situation. But a small thumb rule that you can follow is 100 minus age asset allocation rule that I explained earlier. So 100 minus your age, let's suppose your age is 30. So whatever remaining amount is, that can be parked into equity-based investment instruments, which is 70% of your money. And remaining, which is 30%, can be parked into debt-related investment options, or like some part of it in gold. So this is how you can plan. Around 5 to 10% is something which is ideal for, like, investing into gold, gold related instruments, and remaining can be parked into debt asset classes. So debt can be like your debt mutual funds, or fixed deposits, small portion fixed deposits, or in RDs, or any other post office or fixed income schemes that are available. For example, your PPF, there is National Savings Certificate, Kisan Vikas Path. Different options are there. Now you need to understand, okay, my goal to save for my investment is 5 years. So then you need to pick instruments that are suitable for your 5-year goal. So if your goal is for 5 years, you will not go for a PPF, which comes with a maturity period of 15 years. So a lot of questions you need to ask yourself is: one, what is your goal amount? Second, what is the time period that you are looking to invest your money? Third, you need to understand, are you looking to invest on a monthly basis or as a lump sum? What kind of returns you are expecting? And are you looking for any tax benefits or not? So these questions will help you make a better decision in terms of selecting the investment instrument. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay. We have another question. Is investing in mutual fund a costly affair?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. If you talk about mutual funds, it's not very costly. It's not something which will require a huge amount of money to get started with. You can start with just rupees 100. Either it's equity, debt, or gold. It's like, a very easier option where you get the benefit of professional fund management. That is an expertise of professional fund manager who's managing your money. Secondly, there is, like, you can start with a very small amount, that is 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 1000. And, like, you can increase more, you can invest more as in when you have money, add lump sum as well. Then you can diversify. For example, if you take in one stock, like if you invest in stocks and shares, right? So you may pick one stock, two stocks, or 20, like 5 stocks for that matter. But when you're investing in a mutual fund, you are diversifying your money into different kinds of like multiple securities. Even if you're investing 100 rupees, your money is being put it into 30 different stocks or 50 different stocks. So that is how your risk gets diversified and managed. Similarly, on the Lakshmi app, we do offer certain like portfolios where you can get started with 100 rupees in equity, debt, and gold related asset classes, which is more or less that covers the requirement for an individual when it comes to managing their personal finances. And apart from this, all you need is a right set of insurance, which is health and life insurance, and you are sorted with your money.
Thank you, Priya. Then there is another question from Ramya. Does Lakshmi provide a customized plan for an individual with some fee you might charge?
Okay, so Lakshmi is an AMFI registered mutual fund distributor. We are not an investment advisory platform. We want all of you, like, everyone, every woman to take charge of their money and, understand and start investing for themselves. So we offer, like, on the app, you can finalize the goal. There are different calculators which you can use and get started with. And there are expert curated portfolios which are time based and goal based on the app. So once you finalize on the goals, you can get started with the journey. So that is how the process works on Lakshmi, and it's a very simple process that you can do. So I hope, Ramya, that answers your question.
Thank you, Priya. Yes, that's it. If you guys have any other questions, and you can post.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you guys for all your questions, and thank you, Priya, for answering them so nicely and with such clarity. I think I'll go ahead and launch our last poll for the day. It will appear on your screens right now. Please do vote. I will read it out for you. Do you think this session has helped you understand the concept of emergency and retirement funds and how to get started with it? Majority says yes. So that's a win. Great. We have great feedback. Still 73% say yes. I will wait for a few more minutes to close the poll. So if anybody is left, please quickly vote. Okay. I can see most of them have put in their votes. I will go ahead and close the poll. Great, that was great feedback. And I think now that we're almost towards the end of our session, I would like to take a minute to thank Priya and of course all of Team Lakshmi for this wonderful session. We all learned a little something today about emergency funds and retirement funds. So that's a win-win for all of us here. So thank you so much, guys. And to all our community members, our next session will be on the 16th of March for our third session for our 5-part series on estate planning with Yellow. Do follow us on all our social media platforms to keep updated on our upcoming sessions. Once again, guys, thank you all for tuning in today and see you all for our next session.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
everyone for joining. Do share your feedback with us in the chat box. We would love to hear it from you. Thank you. Thank you, Aspire, for your team, and she knows it's lovely
Thank
to
you, Priya. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Steffi, and entire Aspire for her team.
Thank you all. See you all. Bye.